Zinat, what's your? I mean, have you had any experience?
No, Jazakallah. Also, I second what Nafisa has said, and you also touched on the fact that you live your life like in a zombie state.
Mm-hmm.
You also become, it's difficult to say, but you become like the addict because they have molded you, and then as you touched on, it affects marriages as well. The husband, you play the blame game.
Yes.
Each one blames the other. Oh, he's doing this because of you, or she's doing this because of you. That's why it is so important to get help and for the entire family to be in the program. If there's one user, it's important for the entire family to keep everyone on the same page.
Exactly. Strangely, there was this one case I remember I've dealt with where the husband was in the program, and then the wife was scared to reach out because what he had done, he had got, he's got one of his friends to send his wife a WhatsApp, one of those WhatsApps where, I know you, have a relationship with you, that type of thing. And she now, obviously, knowing the kind of husband that she got, she just ignored it, and she didn't even pay attention, didn't even reply to it. She ignored it. So the husband goes home. When the wife wants to check his phone, he said, "No, bring me your phone." He creates an argument.
Creates a problem.
Bring your phone. Let me see who you talk to. Are you talking to anyone? What is my friend doing with you?
Yes.
And he used that. He used it for a long time to control his wife. Like we said just now, you said, they mold you. They mold us into surrendering to their vices. A drug addict cannot survive on his own. He needs a team of people to support him, give him that support. Even your silence is a support.
Exactly.
When you choose to keep quiet, you're supporting it. When you look the other way, you're supporting it. So when you give money, you're supporting it. So in some way or the other, if you're not helping solve the problem, then you are an enabler. Your silence could be enabling. And again, when they mold you, you surrender. They are doing the wrong, and you live like you are in prison. You don't want to talk about it. You can't reach out to anybody, and you feel embarrassed and what the people are going to say. You think that you're the only one, but this is common in many homes.
But Uncle Ebrahim, that's why talks like these, they actually matter because they break that stigma and they remind parents that addiction is not just a moral failing on your part.
Exactly.
But it's a complex, it's a treatable illness.
Yes. And all you got to do is reach out. If there is a problem, reach out and speak to somebody that can help you. Do not give up. Do not feel hopeless. Do not feel helpless, because the solution is not a difficult one. Just with a little bit of perseverance, a bit of dedication, a little bit of your effort will give you so much of peace in your house.
I think that's the main problem where parents, because of the stigma, people don't want to reach out. They are scared, even when they come to the program, it's like an ostrich mentality. You want to just bury your head down, do your thing and move out. You don't want anyone else to see you.
Also, don't suffer in silence, speak up. Get your support. You'll realize that you may think that your story is unique, but your story is not unique. You're not alone in this. There's so many of us that are suffering in the way you are suffering as well.
Yeah. Okay, I think we'll have to move on a little bit. We only got an hour and it's 20 minutes gone already. We need to, obviously, we'd like to introduce our speaker. Alia, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, we're going to go a little bit into and then we'll come in as we go. A little bit about your life, your childhood, what type of childhood you have, and the parenting, that type of thing.
Okay, so I grew up with a family that I was adopted in because at the age of 3 months, my mother passed away, my biological mother. So this family, they adopted me. They were our next door neighbors. They adopted me, and this family that I got adopted into, they gave me a good life. I had a good education. I had everything that I needed. Everything was there for me. Time when they loved me as if I was their own daughter. And I wasn't deprived of anything. So as time went by, I decided to make my own choices and my own wrong decisions. When I was in high school, I started hanging out with a lot of wrong people. And that's when I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I started making a lot of wrong choices for myself. I started not listening to my family members, the people that raised me. I was carrying on as if I knew best. And um that's when I started having relations with my biological sisters, and all of them come from a line of drugs. They I was in the family at that time. I used to go and visit them. I used to spend time with them, but they were never really a part of me. But being with them, growing up, I started seeing a lot of things that they were doing and I wanted to follow, because I used to look at them and think that, these are my biological family. This people doesn't matter who raised me. So it doesn't really matter to me anymore what they tell me, whether it was right or wrong. So I started doing everything my sisters used to do. I ended up my biological
Okay.
sisters. I was smoking with them. I started shoplifting with them. I even spent time in holding cells because smoking, I needed to support my habit. I didn't know what to do anymore. And I failed my matric. I ended on the street.
Mhm.
They closed all the doors on me because they were smoking. I was smoking. They didn't know how to support my habit and their habit.
Mhm.
So they closed all the doors on me. I ended up staying in drug houses, ended up living with gangsters. I was on the road. So going back home, I always knew
How were
somehow.
your so-called family that adopted you? How were they when you started to behave in this manner? How were they? I mean, were they?
What was their
Yeah. What
reaction?
is the reaction?
They told me there's nothing they can do. If I want to go,
And who were you living with most of the time? I mean,
with
they
my
were.
mother.
Would your
Biological.
biological no your biological mother had
Passed
passed
away.
on?
Yes.
Would your mother that adopted you,
Yes.
adopted
I
parents,
was living with her,
Hmm.
and
and your biological family was right next door?
yes, they were right
Okay.
next door. So moving on, they told me, we're not gonna hold you back. We're gonna let you go and do as you please and pump
That
your
is what your adopted family told you.
yes.
Okay.
And they always told me, when you decide to come back and change your life, we are for you.
Hmm.
So when you want to, the door is always open.
Mhm.
So somehow they also didn't know that I was smoking drugs. I always told them that I just want to be with them, because
Mhm.
being with my family, it made me feel like there was a closure that I
Mhm.
feel now that my parents isn't around anymore. I always
Mhm.
use that card. So
And you felt this attachment, your biological attachment.
yes, I felt that.
That's your own. That this is your own flesh and blood.
Yes.
And how was the relationship between the two families?
It wasn't as, how can I say, there wasn't really a good relationship, because
Was it because of your addiction, or was it prior to that?
it was prior to that. It was because my foster family, they
Mm.
knew exactly what type of people
Mm.
my sisters was. They knew
And
the
they
life
didn't
they
want
were
you to go
living.
down that
They
road.
didn't want to.
Okay, so then you said you ended up on the street.
I ended up on the street, and when I couldn't handle it anymore, I went back home. And going back home, my mother always used to open the door for me. She always used to let me in. She always allowed me to come back. She always felt sorry for me. So I always knew somehow, no matter what I do, there'll always be a way for me to go back. So going back time and again, until one day I went back and they weren't staying there anymore. When I got there, they told me they moved. And I went back. I went to the place where they were staying, and my mother opened for me. My sister was at work, and she told me I can come inside. When my sister got back, she asked me, "What you doing here? Are you gonna
After
do
how long did you go home?
after a year?" And
You had no contact with the family,
no contact.
with the biological and your adopted family.
No, I was on my own. I was on my own on the street,
What, just what, stealing, hanging out with the
stealing,
wrong people, living on the
shoplifting,
street?
doing all the bad things. I was at that point in my life where I was able to do anything for the drugs. So going back home, and then they took me back. My sister told me she knows about this organization Rauf, and if I want to
Did
stay
you
in
know
the house,
anybody that was in the program?
she knew somebody, a lady of her that comes to her, that the place that she works in, this lady always comes there. So this lady told her, because why, she asked for advice. So this lady told her, listen, I also got a son who's on drugs, and he went to this place. So try this place out, you never know what happens. So that's when she was advised about the program. But she never really thought that the program was needed, because she thought I was going to stop whatever I was doing. So when I got back home, And then they took me back. Not long after that, I started craving for the drug even more. Everything was so comfortable.
What were you on at that time?
What was I on?
What drug were you? What was your drug of choice?
Crystal meth. And I wanted to smoke even more this time around. Everything was so comfortable, and I started stealing from her. And that was the first time that I was staying with my family and I was smoking. The other times I was always on my own and smoking, but this was my first
When you went
time.
back now after a year,
Yes.
you thought you had the license or they had surrendered to your addiction
Yes.
and you had control of them. Okay.
I started stealing from them, and eventually it became a cycle where I ran away from home and I came back and they opened the door and I'll come back again. And
It's normal.
It's enabling.
Yeah.
It's complete enabling.
You know, a parent will kick them out for a
Yes.
day and they come to us. But I've tried everything and I feel, okay, did you ask him to leave? Yes, I sent him out so many times. Then what happened? No, I took him back because he came and he said he's sorry. I said, there's a problem.
Yeah, because we base everything on emotion.
Your reaction is an emotion-based reaction. It's not on the challenge. You are behaving in that, or you're kicking him out, or you ask him to leave because you're upset. Not because he's done something wrong. He has done something wrong that upset you, but the reason you ask him to go is because you cannot handle it. Then after a week or so, you tend to settle a little bit, and then your emotions again come and say, he's my son, I can't leave him out there. And this is what people in addiction thrive on. When they got the freedom to go out, they're having a party, and then they come back whilst mommy is having. I know I had this one mother. She asked her son to leave, and he left the house. And she would phone me like almost every night. I don't know, wait. I said, listen, man, why don't you just let go? Just leave him, man. He's an adult. He'll survive. Don't worry. So she was, she went into I would say maybe a bit of a depression thing where she couldn't handle it. And then I said, I want to prove something to this mother. So I got into the car and I drove. I drove to near where they live because they're not going to go too far away. The dealers are there and the house is there, so he'll hang around in that area. So I go there and I go to this one garage and I see this. It was raining, it was cold that night. It was a thing in winter. I go there and ask the Bowser boys, I'm looking for this Chapman. Do you know where he is? Yeah, who are you? I said, no, my friend, I'm looking for him. And they said, no, he's sleeping in our room. So I go in the back, in the weather, the Bowser, the people that work in the garage, the restroom. He's sleeping in that room, in one of the Bowser boys' bed, and he's having a nice sleep. So I called the mom and I said, your son is having a nice sleep and you're stressing the whole night. Okay. That's not fair.
They do the crime and we're doing the time.
Exactly.
I just want to ask, just on the one point Sister Alia mentioned, your adopted mom told you when you decide to change your life,
Come back.
then you come back. That's where I think Rauf, we stand out at Rauf because they can't do it on their own. You need that support base. You need to be there behind them. Do you think it would have been different if at that time she offered you help or said, you know what, I think you need help? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Like, honestly, coming to Rauf, if it wasn't with the help of Rauf, they would have never been able to help me because just words wouldn't have been able to.
So how they got you down then? And then what happened? You went there, then this lady met your sister?
She met.
And she offered help. She knew somebody, okay? And then
We started attending the program.
Which one? The one in Mitchell's Plain or the one in Lance?
In Lansdowne.
Okay.
So I started attending the program with her, and the only reason why I was attending the program was because I didn't want to lose living in the house. And I attended the program for almost a year, but yet I was still smoking.
You smoked throughout that period?
I smoked out.
So we're just going there because the block was so-called
Yeah,
hot.
the block was hot.
Everybody was watching. All the cameras are on me. I'll just make them happy. I'll
And
go
probably,
the program
just to
there.
please them,
Thinking that, they're going to get off your back and you can go back to where you were.
giving you some space.
Yes.
Just that space.
Okay.
And even in the time I was staying there, I was running away from home all the time and coming back, and they'll take me and then I'll say, okay, I'll go to the program. It was the same thing over and over.
Cycle. That's what happens. It just, if you don't do something different, you're not going to see any difference. You're gonna, if you play the same song, you're going to hear the same word all the time. It's the same act. You're watching the same thing every time. It's a repeat. You got to do something different. So when did your family decide to do something different?
I'm not sure when they decided to do something different, but what I do know is it was with me one day when I ran away from home. And I think this was when I hit rock bottom for me. I was sitting by this place. It's a dam, and I was sitting and smoking, and it was time for me to leave. And as I was about to leave, I fell into it. And my one of my legs got stuck between the two rocks, and the only thing stopping me from going down was my legs getting stuck there. So that's when I knew that Allah has given me a chance. And in this time I was intoxicated.
Subhanallah.
I could have something could have happened to me in that time, but it didn't happen, and it was a really deep place that I was in. So I decided to go back home, and that's when I knew that I needed to commit myself 100% to the program.
So you've asked your family to help you. They didn't. They were just okay with you coming to the programs and that type of thing.
I think in Alia's case, we talk about hitting rock
Rock
bottom.
bottom. She
In
hit
your
the rock.
case, you were literally in rock.
You genuinely hit it.
It was your rock bottom.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, she ran away, came back. It's that yo-yo effect all the time. And it's the parents that are not equipped. They don't know, they're not empowered. So they allow you back, as Uncle Ibi says. It's that emotions that take the better of you.
And some families, they tend to get used to it. Nah, he'll come back after 3 days. It's fine. But we don't know if he's unlucky. The one day may never come back alive.
But it's exactly what Zinat was saying. Sister Zinat was saying. They mold us, and and then they create that codependency on them. And then what happens is that we start to like the feeling. We start to like the feeling of being needed all the time. Instead of saying, you know what, leave this house and don't come back. We don't say it with conviction. And that is what an addict picks up on. They pick up on the fact that, you know what, we say it, but we're not going to enforce it at the end of the day.
The doors
We
are
always
still
say,
open.
100%.
Yes.
We always say, if you make a threat, carry through and follow through on your threat. Because the moment you don't, you've opened up the door for them to come in and out, as in Alia's case.
And they get used to that routine as well. They're molding it another way, because they can't get you this way, they'll get you that way. So if you don't, like I said, or we always say, empower yourself, you're just gonna go on and on and on and on. And it's a miserable life.
It's a miserable cycle.
It's nobody wants to be in a situation like that. It's a horrible situation. Okay, so then you asked them that you said that you wanted help.
And that's when I started attending the program, and I knew that change needed to come from me. Not long, I was attending the program, and before, usually every week, and I used to come to the program, they used to test me. But somehow this time around, no testing was happening, and then before I knew it, I was coming here. And
were you still drugging in that period?
No, I was not.
Okay. For how long were you clean before you came to Durban?
I think it was around about going for 2 months.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so now you're in Durban, you joined the program, you are now with us. Tell us a bit about your recovery program, the challenges, and how are you?
Sorry, Brother Ibi, can we just ask how long is Alia in the program?
11 months.
11 months. Okay, a little bit about your program, your recovery, how you're doing. Have you had any challenges? How have you dealt with it?
Coming into recovery, I had quite a few challenges. Like, firstly, it was dealing with a lot of things that I used to do in my addiction, accepting the things that I used to do. It was a challenge for me to accept a lot of things that I did, and the fact that I was the problem in my addiction. So coming into recovery, learning this program, it has helped me a lot. Like, I can basically say it's like a transition from darkness to light.
Okay, we stop from darkness to light. We stop for an ad break and we'll continue, inshallah.
Okay.
Tweet us at Al-Ansar Radio.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031-306-4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
WhatsApp us now on 060-904-1056.
Almost 1 in 5 South African children attend school each day without having eaten breakfast. This seriously affects their ability to concentrate and understand lessons. The Al-Imdad Foundation's Make Breakfast Possible campaign allows learners to enjoy a high-energy cereal at the start of the school day. Help children to focus on learning and not hunger. Let's make breakfast possible today. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Call us now on 0861 904 904.
Get ready for an evening of inspiration and impact. Join Islamic Lifestyle Solutions for their annual fundraising dinner, Dawah Dimensions, featuring a powerful book launch, Divine Calling, How God Addresses Humankind in the Quran, and spiritually uplifting Qira and Qasaid with Daf by Sheikh Noor Aswad. Plus, exciting prize giveaways, including a free Umrah ticket and a 7-course meal. Friday, 15th August 2025 at NNJ Islamic Center, 6 p.m. Tickets only 250 Rand, no reserved seating. Don't miss out. Book now.
اللهم إنك ترى ما نزل بنا في غزة من الأحوال يا ذا الجلال والعزة يا ذا الجبروت والعزة اللهم أعز أهل غزة اللهم فرج عن أهل غزة اللهم فرح أهل غزة اللهم انصر أهل غزة اللهم داو جريحهم اللهم اشف مريضهم اللهم اقبل شهيدهم اللهم ارحم ميتهم اللهم كفف جراحاتهم وبرد آلامهم اللهم واجعل لهم وللمسلمين فرجا قريبا يا الله اللهم فرج عنا وعن المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين واخذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين يا رب العالمين سبحانك سبحانك ترى الظالمين فتمهلهم حتى يظنوا أنك تهملهم وتبتلي الصالحين في الدنيا حتى يستيئسوا فإن استيئسوا أتيتهم بنصرهم اللهم إنك تعلم أن جراحات المسلمين كثيرة وآلامهم كثيرة في كل مكان وفي كل زمان اللهم فانصرنا على أعدائنا يا الله اللهم فثبت أقدامنا يا الله.
Follow us on Instagram at Radio Al-Ansar.
Do you know someone with a drug problem?
Join me, Ebrahim every Sunday 1 to 2 p.m. on our fight against drug abuse, where we will discuss the scourge of substance abuse in our communities and listen to the hard-hitting points from real-life experiences and true motivators. Okay, let's go back to where we stopped. We spoke about from darkness to light, and you can take us from there.
Okay, so coming into recovery, like it was a big difference for me. Like I can say, like also going back on the question that you just asked me, Uncle Ebrahim, like I was clean from crystal meth before I came here, but
for 2 months.
The weed, I was still smoking weed before I came here. So even up until the day before I got here,
you were smoking
I was
weed.
smoking.
So you're not really clean.
No. I was very weak-minded before I got into recovery. So coming into recovery, like I mentioned, it was a big transition from darkness to light. Like I've learned so much about spirituality and our Creator. It's like an awakening point for me in my religion and in Islam. Like suddenly everything in my life has a perspective. I can think more straight about things, and when it comes to making choices, is first I have to stop and think about certain things, and this program has taught me how to deal with my emotions very much compared to first how I was.
Can I
now you got a good understanding about yourself and your connection with reality and our Creator. Okay,
can I just ask, you say you were a weak recovery, so how long did it take you to fully embrace the program and get with the program?
Honestly speaking, when I was around about 3 months in recovery, going to 4 months.
3 months. So 3 months in a state of denial still, yes. Basically.
Because coming into recovery, like I still had that mindset, like where I was thinking about the drugs, or where I was thinking about the life that I was living. It was so it was like it was still there.
There.
I was stuck in the past so much though. Like I felt like somehow I wanted to go back. I was thinking of it as if it was a nice thing.
Okay.
So, in any point of your, you being in the center now, did you ever have any thoughts of running away?
No.
No thoughts. And then, how long after you entered the program did you go home on recovery? On integration, sorry.
I was almost 7 months in the
7 months.
center and I went home for the integration.
How long was your first integration?
It was 1 month.
A month. A month is a very long time. Remember, you're now coming back to a family that's, they haven't seen you being clean. So how was the reaction? And walk us through the process of how it was when you went back home for reintegration.
Going back home, I could see they were very shaky around me. Like they were waiting for me to do something wrong at any time.
Sorry, Arya, before we just carry on, I just want to ask you a question. In the interim, while you were in the center, was your family attending programs in Lansdowne or anywhere in Mitchell's Plain?
Yes, they were attending the programs in
So they
Lansdowne.
were already empowered as well.
Yes,
Okay,
they were.
carry on.
So going back home, I knew that certain things that was happening, like I could see a lot. I could see it in them that they were waiting for me to slip up or do anything wrong at any time. Like basically they didn't trust me as yet. Because I remember this one time I was busy reading Salah and my sister was calling for me so loudly, and I was just thinking about one day back in my addiction now they used to call me. Because one moment I'll be here and with the next moment I'll be gone. And they'll be calling me the whole time. So
And then with that, how was the reaction of your mom towards you? Because obviously, in the time that you were on drugs, you caused a lot of disharmony in the home between your sister, between your mom and yourself. So how is that? I think that's what I'm trying to get more at. How is the reactions and their feelings towards you?
So like for me, what I saw was my mother. The first time when I got home for the integration, the first time she saw me, she started breaking down and crying. And she also mentioned to me this one time, that Alhamdulillah, now I know that I've seen you like this. I feel that Allah can take me away. So I don't know what exactly she was feeling, but I know for a fact that in my addiction, I hurt my family really badly. And I was never able to see it. So coming also into recovery and learning about the program, we got this one topic that we do, feeling your wrongs. And only through my introspection, I was able to see all the hurt that I caused my family. So there was a lot of times when I would look at them and I'll break down and cry, but I wouldn't show to them. And I knew that also for a fact, whatever I'll tell them and I'll say to them wouldn't change anything what I did in the past. Only my actions can determine
Exactly.
now and going forward.
Yeah.
So going forward, what plans do you have? I mean, you here now at Rauf. What plans do you have for the future?
I would like to finish my matric that I haven't completed yet. Okay. And also, my priority for me is to become a stronger recovery. Because my recovery right now is the most important thing in my life. And reminding myself every day where I'm coming from and giving back to the family that reared me and how can raising me and becoming this person now. I feel that it's my time to give back to them. So becoming a strong recovery and completing my education and inshallah going to study further.
What would you say is the most important aspect of recovery? In your recovery, what's the most important aspect? Okay, the family support, we understand all that in your sobriety. Besides that, something that perhaps was lacking when you were in active addiction.
Like
spirituality?
I think that's the main thing, because in addiction there was no spirituality and it was all because of myself. I decided to shine Allah out. I never knew anything about spirituality until I came into recovery. So I think that was being clean and knowing that you can't have this life and on the other side have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala next to you. So it's also a very a barrier not to go back there. And also thinking about your spirituality and knowing that one day that is my return. It is also a barrier of motivation for me not to go down that road once again.
So that is the most powerful weapon that you will use now, maintaining sobriety.
Just going back to your integration as well, I just want to ask you, so what is the contact point that you have with your biological family?
There's no contact at the moment. Where we are staying now, they don't know where I'm staying. So there's absolutely no contact. And I know for a fact that there's no benefit in me being around them. And many times I was asked this question, what will I do if they would come face to face with me? How will I react to it? What will my reaction be?
Because remember, at Rauf, you are taught the tools of,
Yes.
dealing with your demons as well. I'm not saying your biological family are demons,
Yes.
but I'm saying you have to sometime, at some point, face and work through those emotions. So what would happen if that were the case, that you would go face to face to your biological family? What would you do?
If I were to
Meet up with
meet
them.
up with them. So I've learned a very also important topic in the program is to be assertive. And yes, it will hurt me to turn them down because while they are my family, but at the end of the day, when I had nowhere to go and all their doors were closed on me, the people that I hurt the most was the people that actually cared for me and whose doors was always open on me.
And are standing by you and attending programs as well.
Yes.
And helping you in your recovery.
Is your biological family aware that you're in recovery? Are they aware?
I'm not sure. I don't really have any contact with them.
I want to ask you, this always occurred to me, and I've for some reason always forget to ask. When you're on the streets living, intoxicated, drugging and so-called enjoying life, you probably, I'm sure there were times when you thought about your future.
There was.
What type of thoughts were you having at that time? When you see other people married, living happy, and now you're on the streets, what goes through your mind?
For me, I thought at that time when I was in my addiction that there's no hope.
You felt hopeless.
I felt hopeless. I felt like I had nothing left anymore. I also had.
So if you see somebody living happy and a woman just career driven, making a success, or happily married, or doing something, and living a proper life, it will affect you.
It would.
And you would, think about it, but then obviously not go further because you feel hopeless. There's no hope for me. So you had no hope in yourself.
Not a kind of inspiration.
Yeah.
No.
So there was no motivation. You had already surrendered to this addiction. Now this is where you have totally surrendered to your addiction. And now when you look back where you are now, what can you tell us about the types of thoughts that you have now?
Now I look
You spoke about your stress, going back to
Back
school.
to study. Would you have thought of it at that time?
I would have not. I wouldn't, because I had, in the time I went back home, my sister, she tried to let me redo my matric, but I took advantage of it. I made up every excuse not to do it. I was telling her that the people is giving me a hard time. I can't deal with this. I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. So, but now all I want to do is just fix everything we are left off. We have
Alhamdulillah. So
everything
you've got
that I
you've got
messed up.
motivation, you've got drive, you've got focus, you know what you want.
And we always say, Rauf, hope for the hopeless and help for the helpless. So
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to see that you are in a good space, but you're gonna go back to the same surrounding, possibly, maybe another surrounding. They moved, but you're gonna go back to all these challenges. Do you think that you will be able to handle it?
with this program, Uncle Ebrahim, I'll be able to handle it.
But of course, more important, you've got your aftercare program that you need to hold on to. You can't slacken because you will not know. We found that in many cases when they recover and they do not maintain the aftercare program, then they become overconfident and then obviously the next thing is a relapse. So that is why we've established these aftercare programs, and you should guard yourself because you will not. Sometimes, in many cases, a lot of people don't know that they are sliding backwards. They think that when you're overconfident, you're not looking at where you come from and who you are. You're just looking at, hey, I'm clean for 1 year. You look at all the pluses. You look at, hey, I'm clean for 1 year. I've done very well. I've done my time at Rauf. My family is on board. Everything is going well. I'm 1 year clean. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need this. You're not looking at what if something happens. So when overconfidence comes in, you always got to think about, when in good times, think of bad times. What if I don't go and I relapse? So you got to stimulate, you got to motivate, you got to make yourself understand the importance of that aftercare program. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem going further
You
down.
can't slide into a comfort zone.
Yes.
We
basically.
always say, even in the program as well, when people very happily say, hey, I'm 1 year in the program, I'm here for a whole year. And we always say to them, yes, you're here for a year, but we don't count it in days. We count it as we are here for life. We are here for as long as it takes, because that is what the aftercare program is about.
And I'm sure you've been taught that the program is not only for sobriety. That's only part of that's the cherry on the top. But it's a whole complete mindset. It's a whole complete change of mindset, for change of focus completely. That is what will carry you through. Because to get rid of the drug is very easy. I mean, you're in a safe zone at the moment, so obviously it's not accessible to you. But to maintain with the program, that's why the topics are repeated over and over again, for it to become a way of life for you.
Okay. So what advice could you give someone else that's, perhaps was in your shoes? What advice would you give them now?
If there was a youngster, how old are you? 20?
21.
Alhamdulillah, you're 21, still young. Okay, if there was somebody that's 20, 21, or even younger, anybody, a female, that's now feeling hopeless like you and how you felt when you were in addiction, what advice can you give them so that they can go out there and sort themselves out?
My advice to anybody with a drug problem right now would be to, if they're listening to this, that to go to the nearest place where this program is and attend the program. And yes, I know in the beginning, there is no commitment. You feel like it's hard and you feel like you can't do this because you are still inclined to all those wrong things, and it feels nice to live that life. You can't just get rid of it like that, but to just carry on, to attend the program. And as time goes by, you'll see the benefit of attending this program and coming to Durban and being clean, and you'll see a lot of things for yourself. Nobody would even be able to tell you all these things. You'll see for yourself the benefits of being in recovery and the opportunities that will happen for you, the doors that will open for you. So the first step is to attend this program, and it will change your life for the better. Because I can speak out of experience, because Rauf gave me back my life. When I saw that nothing was happening for me, I thought there was no hope for me. And the only place here, I know for a fact, no other place would be able to help me, because me, in the state that I was and the way that I was thinking, no other place would have been able to help me the way that I'm being helped right now. And the change that I've made in my life with the help of Rauf and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And if your mother were listening now, what would you want to say to your mom?
What I would tell her right now is Jazakallah, shukran for not giving up on me, for pushing me, and for telling me firstly that if I don't come to this program and attend this program, the door won't open for me.
From your experience in your household, your mother, what do you think, had your mother done different earlier in your recovery, would have brought about change in you?
If she hadn't opened that door for me all the time when I came back after running away.
You heard that?
That is so powerful.
It's a powerful statement.
That is absolutely powerful.
If she never opened the door, but a lot of this is the challenge. The emotions are in full control. When you got addiction, you are on overdrive from an emotional point of view, because you're totally imbalanced. Remember, whilst they may have the drug to give them that feeling of
euphoria.
Yeah, euphoria in homes, in families without taking the drug becomes, I wouldn't want to use the word, but I would say it, dysfunctional. to live with that. It's not normal, and they also start to see things differently, not the way normal people would see it, and they live with it. And it's not normal to live in a home where there's stealing and abuse and violence and drugging and all the nonsense that's going on. It's not normal. But families have, for some reason, the way they are molded, they live with it. So your mother, that's a very powerful statement. She should never open the door that would have brought you quicker into your recovery program.
And that is by your own admission.
So I just want to say, last week you had a recovery. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the name, but he mentioned that he still thinks back about him. He used to sleep with the dog in the dog's kennel. And that every time he feels he's getting a bit shaky, he thinks about that he stooped to that level. So I think, Sister Alia, you should always remember your legs dangling and hooked onto one of the rocks.
Rock bottom.
Definitely, I always
Literally
remember
rock
that.
bottom, and inshallah, may it be a means of bringing you back, in time and in your